Hello and welcome to FPL FaF. I'm John. This is the Form Fixtures Podcast. Sorry, and then I say I'm John. I'm joined with James today. Hi, James.
Oh, you're right, John. Good to see you again. Good to have you
Yeah,
back.
Oh, sorry. Say again.
Good to have you back from your honeymoon, mate.
Cheers, mate. We're not joined by Jason this week, and James and Jason actually recorded a video last week, and I haven't uploaded it yet. So they're both going live soon and uploaded as soon as this is over. But we're on a bit of a tight schedule today. James is all dressed up in a nice suit.
Not
For
just
I guess a
for
bit of a
FPL.
sad occasion, yeah, for a funeral. So all the best with the family there. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go through things today. So we're gonna skim over the last week's game week and our points and our teams, etc. And then really just put a heavy focus on the fixtures now, who to get on the fixtures and the players from those teams that have good fixtures through to the World Cup, really. And then obviously we'll finish with a golden pick and transfers and our captains. But yeah, just kicking off, what are your thoughts on the game week last week, really, and also your points?
Yeah, I was very pleased with my points. I finally got a good return. I got 71 points. So my captain Kane finally beat Haaland, which was nice. Kind of felt like redemption after 6 game weeks of no Kane doing better than Haaland for me. And then Isak came in with 9, which was nice. And then the City boys, De Bruyne, Cancelo, and Edison all came through with returns. So yeah, it was a nice week. It was a nice week. I finally got a decent green arrow. I got like a million places up in the world. So yeah, it was a good game week. In terms of things that I kind of stood out to me, obviously Son's back on the radar. Scoring a hat-trick off the bench. I mean, I think he's one to keep an eye on. I'm not jumping on him right now, but potentially the guy's like back in form, maybe. At least, yeah, I think he's one to watch. Grealish is another one I've kind of mentioned as one to watch, just because I know he scored, but he's looking more up for it now. Like if he can get more regular starts in that City team at 6.8 mil for a midfielder, looking to constantly assist Haaland, maybe getting in the box a bit more for goals. I think he's another one to kind of watch, but maybe not jump on right now. And then another one that stood out to me finally, is Saka. Like I feel like he's been getting a few more returns lately, and he's kind of becoming the more reliable Arsenal midfielder again that he was last season in terms of FPL returns. I don't know what you think about that, John, as an Arsenal fan. Like, is Saka becoming potentially more reliable than Martinelli? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I guess for me, it's a bit annoying because I guess this is kind of obvious to me at the start of the season because it feels like Martinelli is very much like that big impact player where he's extremely excited, he wants to do his best, and
Yeah,
then I don't know if this is unfair, but it does feel like like he did the same last season where he faded a bit. And I can't say he necessarily faded, but he does. Yeah, he's definitely not as present.
yeah,
Having as much of a presence in the game. When Saka is that slow burner, like he's just constantly good. Like even when the
yeah,
stats aren't necessarily good for FPL, like he's still good.
yeah.
And he's just so comfortable on the ball. So yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. And I mean, I think Saka's going to always be a good pick. Um, in terms of
Reliable.
Martinelli,
Yeah,
it's difficult to say he's not a good pick at 6.6 million still.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Did you have anything
But
more on the game week as
no,
well?
that was my summary, to be honest. Like, I think quickly on Saliba, I don't think he's someone to just jump on just because he's the highest defender point scorer. I feel like he scored a couple of goals that he's not going to keep up every single week. I assume you think the same.
Yeah, I massively. I think it's the hardest thing to have a defender from your own team because every goal hurts so much
Yeah,
anyway. And then
yeah,
when it hurts your FPL team, like maybe I'm on my own with that, but I've really struggled to have an Arsenal defender. And at
Yeah.
4.5 million, or what, he's probably up
He's now
4.6.
4.9.
4.9. Oh my
Yeah,
days.
he's gone up a lot. Yeah.
Oh, you see, that shows how out of touch I am because I haven't even
Yeah.
considered him.
No.
Um, but yeah, I do agree. Like, I mean, especially we've got the blank, we've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
yeah, we haven't exactly got the most favourite. Yeah, I do think he's going to keep scoring though.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Fair.
I do think
Yeah.
we're going to get. We do have a massive emphasis on set pieces, so maybe I should be considering him more. But again, I just struggle so much with separating the emotion. Like the Arsenal
Yeah.
players in my team, I find it really difficult.
Yeah.
Um,
Perhaps wait until after game week 12 in the blank before you consider him.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, maybe. I was, and also I am a player that I don't mind if a player was 4.5 million and he's now 5.1. I don't mind getting in
mm,
my team. I don't
yeah.
feel like that it just is
You've
what it
missed
is.
out.
Yeah, I
100%
don't really.
agree. Yeah.
Obviously, I feel like I missed out on the points, but it doesn't bother me that I'm paying a lot more money than someone else has paid for him.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
with you on that. How's your game week?
game week wise, awful as normal.
Okay.
6.7 million game week rank. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like uh, I guess highlights would be Kuzeski actually got a a return. Trippier 5. Trippier's
Mm,
5 was nice considering, yeah, like he didn't keep the clean sheet, but it was a
yeah.
Newcastle. Well, yeah, I'll just go through like my thoughts on the game week. Like as an Arsenal fan, I will say like I was very distant from the football this week being away. I was really enjoying relaxing and
Yeah.
I didn't watch any football other than the Arsenal game.
No.
Um, so I was very distant. So I feel like my view on the game week's quite like a bit of an overview rather than
Yeah.
in depth, like or like my knowledge of it is more overviewed than in depth like normal. But yeah, as an
Yeah.
Arsenal fan, I feel really excited with that performance. Like it was a
No.
great way to bounce back, but I'm very cautious that I kind of feel like, well, maybe this is Brentford from last season. Like we think of Brentford as this like amazing team, but they
Yeah.
lost a lot of games last season, and
Yeah.
or this team that will fight for everything, and they just didn't on
No, they
Sunday.
weren't.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we were that good, but I struggle to believe that we were so good that Brentford couldn't put up a fight. But
Yeah.
yeah, we
It
were
was a bit
just
of both,
better
I
at
think.
everything. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit of both, I think. I watched the game and yeah, you played well, but Brentford weren't as up for it as they should have been. I think the early goals probably caught them out a bit. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah.
But yeah, it does keep me like I sometimes worry that I haven't got a Brentford player. Well, obviously Ivan Toney being the obvious, but
Yeah.
then it's games like that where I'm like, yeah, but they are still an absolute mid-table team. They're nothing more than that.
Yeah.
And I'm
Tony's the
happy to
only
be
one.
proven wrong.
Yeah. I think Tony's the only one you'd consider for Brentford,
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah.
The rest you just can't count
Maybe
on.
David Raya as well, but
That's
it,
true. That's true. Yeah.
yeah. Then I guess yeah, Jesus and Shaka still doing it. Jesus was nice considering a lot. I don't know a lot of people, but people have been selling him, and it was nice to see him
Yeah.
score. But then he only gets
I
six
kept him for one
points.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was my
So
last week.
and then Shaka continues as well. Um, Leicester and Forest just keep consistently scoring and then losing. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't matter how many goals they score, they'll still lose. So they're
Yeah.
keeping consistent for us.
Yeah.
Bournemouth. Bournemouth scoring against Newcastle was a massive shock for me. I think everyone was banking on a clean
hmm
sheet there in a
hmm
weird game week.
Yeah.
That bothered me a lot. It also I don't know if I play FPL wrong, but when you first suggested Isaac, I was like not interested yet, um, because of his goal scoring record.
Yeah.
Um, and then I feel my takeaway from that game was, see, okay, he might get like this penalty or something. He saves the day with this draw, but he's not going to be this goal scoring machine
No.
that puts Bournemouth to the sword. And then I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking, yeah, but he got 9 points and Jesus got 6. and
Nah,
even if it was just for 1 week,
yeah,
like that 9 points would have gone. So I'm
that's
kind of
true.
I'm kind of like questioning whether my reasoning to not have him is justified. And then just
Yeah.
quickly, Everton keep surprising me with their grit, and
Mhm.
West Ham surprising me how just flat. I don't know if rubbish is
Yeah,
harsh. Like apparently they played well, but what is going on there? I'm hearing a lot of
yeah.
criticism all season for Souček and Soufal. Apparently there's
Same.
question marks over even if they're actually that good, and that it was a bit of a high, like when they were performing it, they were like riding the wave. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, summary: 45 points, awful week. Um,
Oh dear.
again, but I'm not panicking. I don't know why. I'm just
Yeah.
not panicking. I'm doing awful, guys. I'm like really low
Yeah.
down, and I'm just not panicking. I still feel like I've got a good team, and I'm gonna get through it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's the key.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, moving on to fixtures. So yeah, go on. You kick us off. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts? Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots to look at, to be honest. Like, it's partly why I'm wildcarding because there's lots of fixture swings. Like Leicester's the big one. The next 4 games they've got are just incredible. Home to Forest, like this next game's just a dream fixture. They've got like Leeds. Um, Wolves is one of the slightly harder ones. There's another game in there, I think like Bournemouth or something like it's incredible. So Maddison, I'm just getting straight on, and I think most people are. His price went up last night, I think,
Yeah, it did.
because yeah, everyone's just getting on him. So yeah, I'm looking at Maddison at Leicester. You'll see in my wildcard team in a minute. I am actually considering a punt on Harvey Barnes for the next 4 games, just to have a double up on the Leicester
Oh, that's a
midfield
good
slash
shout.
attack, just because he's pretty nailed. And he's you can't bank on Daka, Vardy, or Iheanacho
Mate,
starting.
that is a
So
really good shout. I really like that.
yeah, he's a bit of a streaky player, but I'm going to take on my wild card. I think I'm going to. I really want to go for it with them. Maddison and Barnes. I just want to double up because everyone has Maddison, but if Barnes gets returns as well, I'm gonna. That's where I'll make the gains. Um, and then Ward and Everson in goal. Like, if you want a cheap way into the keepers, you can do it. But
Yeah.
I've considered it. I'm not sold on it. So that's
Well, I was
Leicester.
just gonna
Yeah.
say, can we so if we just go through teams that have got good fixtures and then go through some positions really,
Yeah.
um,
Okay, mate.
on who
Oh,
to focus,
okay.
because
Yeah.
yeah, just because I've got some goalkeepers, I've got some defenders. For so yeah, so
Yeah.
Leicester are definitely a team to focus on. But who else from the
Yeah.
fixtures stands out?
Yeah, so Leicester, I'd say number one. I've put Bournemouth down, but there's not many to look at from there. You got West Ham, have got good fixtures. Fulham have good fixtures. Everton have fairly decent fixtures leading up to the World Cup, and Palace have really good fixtures. They're a
I'll
big
point
one
that,
to
didn't
look
I?
at.
Yeah,
And then Villa have good fixtures, but it's Villa. And then Chelsea have fairly good fixtures, but I wouldn't say incredible. Like a lot of their good fixtures are away, and then they have more difficult home fixtures. So I'm like, there's not loads of standout kind of home to Forests and home to Bournemouth, so you think they're going to kill it. So
and Chelsea
yeah,
is such a
they are
hard
the
team
list.
right now because you just don't know what you're going to get yet.
Yeah,
Same with
exactly.
Brighton, but your fixtures just aren't as great. But yeah,
Yeah. I could comment just real quick on Chelsea. Reece James, I think, is an absolute, you have to have him because the way Potter plays and the way Reece James plays, like March has been getting forward for Brighton in that position. And he had like 6 shots in our last match. And in the other games, he's had like loads of shots. So if Reece James is going to get even more forward than he already does in that position, like I think you have to have him. Everyone else, I'm not currently set on with Chelsea, but yeah, I
mate, and
just want
he's
to chuck
already
that out
their
there.
best attacker. So
I
like,
know he's a great shout, I think.
yeah, mate. As soon as you said that, I got worried, and I was like, "Wait, have I got James?" And I just looked at my team like, "Okay, I got him. I got him.
Yeah,
It's all
you're
good."
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, fixtures wise, I completely agree with you. I actually forgot about Palace.
Mhm.
Palace's good run because after Chelsea, then
Yeah,
it really takes a nice turn.
it
So yeah,
does.
with goalkeepers,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I'm fully aware as well. We've only got 10 minutes to go. So
Could do
with
15.
goalkeeper,
Yeah.
okay. So with goalkeepers, yeah, I've it's so difficult. There's just no exciting goalkeeper right now. Like lots of people have jumped on Pope, but I just wouldn't go for Pope purely because I
Yeah,
don't want a Trippier Pope double up, and I don't
yeah,
see Trippier leaving my team anytime soon.
yeah.
Um, and
I'm
and
with you on
then
that.
and then so I've got Henderson right now. Again, as I said at the beginning, Forest do not look like they're going to keep any clean sheets. So I'm just going off
Hmm.
save points there. But the two
Yeah.
goalkeepers I've written down are yeah, perhaps Neto at Bournemouth. Like he's got a 6 point and a 4 points and then a zero in between.
Okay.
Um, and I do wonder if maybe Bournemouth might focus on being a bit more solid. But again, it's all kind of like maybes right now. But it's a
Yeah.
cheap goalkeeper, and then the second one is
Yeah.
just Martinez at Villa. Like, yeah, Villa's
Hmm.
fixtures are good. Gerrard does love a clean sheet, but
That's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
Martinez is a good goalkeeper. He's probably I don't know what his price is. It's probably 4.9, 4.8.
Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
don't know if there's such thing as a differential goalkeeper, but if there ever was one, I think Martinez is actually a cheeky shout because Villa do set up defensively and they've got decent fixtures. No one's going there with him.
he's actually only
Um,
fifth on the list as well of goalkeepers. Yeah, 4.9
mm,
million. He's fifth on the goalkeepers. Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
it's not an awful shout, like especially with the
No.
fixtures to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't mind it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if you got any other goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Just
I'm I'm looking at Guaita for Palace,
oh,
providing he
that's a good
keeps his
shout.
piss. Just because Palace they have incredible fixtures. Like even home to Chelsea, I wouldn't say is awful, because they're at home. And then all the other fixtures, there's no bad fixture, I don't think. So yeah, I'm looking at him, and then like you could go for Fabianski at Wolves, but no, sorry, West Ham. But none of them are really like saying you have to get me. I think there's so many options you could go for, but I like Guaita. If Guaita is guaranteed to just keep the place all the way up to the World Cup, I think he's the one for me.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's my goalie summary quickly.
So you're going for Guaita on your wild card.
I am going Guaita. Yeah, yeah,
Nice. Okay, cool. That's
yeah.
oh man, that's good. It's a good shout. I didn't even think, but yeah, that is a really good point.
Mm,
So then moving on to defenders, again Palace. I don't know how I missed them on the fixture ticket. I didn't consider them, but
yeah.
um, like I guess one notable mention is like all of a sudden Man City look a lot less inviting with their fixtures. Um, I suppose a lot of people are on
For the
Cancelo.
short term.
Yeah, like
Mm.
no one's going to sell Cancelo if you own him.
No.
But yeah, like Man City, I've got to be honest. Like I own Diaz, and I'm like, do I really need him? But at the same time, he's good on corners. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but Man City all of a sudden just look a lot less inviting with their fixtures and then the blank.
Hmm.
Yeah, for me, I'll just run through my list of what I've got. So yeah, for me, like Trippier is obviously like he's very highly owned now, and I feel like he's probably maybe not a must-have, but Newcastle are
Almost.
definitely focusing on clean
Mm.
sheets more,
Yeah.
and he's getting attacking returns when they're not keeping clean sheets.
Exactly.
But at the same time, two things that worry me about their next two fixtures is Tony and Mitrovic, both ex-Newcastle players, are going to want to score. But anyway, Trippier's
That's
fine
interesting.
with that, with
Yeah.
the attacking threat, and they both like conceding
Yeah.
goals, Brentford and Fulham.
Yeah.
Villa's the big one again. Like I'm just commenting about um, Martinez. Like Ashley Young's only 4.4 million. Like Matty Cash and Dina are out injured. 4.4 million for a
Mm.
Villa fullback. They do okay, like maybe even a bench option right now. Like
Yeah.
that is quite appealing. On top of that, Mings and Chambers are 4.3 million, and Conter's also 4.4. But I think of all of those players, like they've got a lot of injuries in the
Mm.
defence, and Ashley Young probably
Mm.
would be the one. But I mean, I'm not. I'm just
Mm.
saying, if you're on a wild card, um,
Yeah.
Villa's fixtures are good, and having a Villa defender or
Mm.
Villa goalkeeper might not be a bad shout right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear that. Yeah.
Then also, I'm really keen. I just don't even care about fixtures right now. Like,
Mm.
I just love a Tottenham defender in my team.
Okay.
Before the international break, Conte said about Doherty that he actually hasn't been fit, and he's after the international break he thinks he'd be ready to play again.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's all of a sudden becomes an option, and he's
Mm.
4.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially an option, but right now I
Yeah.
just can't. Okay, I would love to have Perisic, but it's a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
and but it just feels like I would love to have a Tottenham defender. Their fixtures aren't bad, like they're quite average, but I think they're going to keep clean
Yeah.
sheets. And like Eric Dyer doesn't put like, yeah, I quite like the idea of a Tottenham
No.
defender right now, is what I'm saying, even if it's a centre
Yeah.
back. And
Fair.
then yeah, Bournemouth. Bournemouth kind of covered them already with what I said about goalkeepers. I don't
Yeah.
I don't even know Bournemouth defenders well enough right now.
No.
Um,
Same.
and then if I'm being honest with it, and then Leicester, James Justin and Castagna for attacking outfits. But mate, someone who owns Ward, like he's only on my bench, but like he doesn't
Yeah.
make save points and he concedes goals.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go near them, but they are cheap and they've got good
Yeah.
fixtures. So I wouldn't blame anyone for jumping on them. And I think they're
Mm.
worthy of keeping a well note for, but personally I wouldn't do it. But they're definitely
Yeah.
worth a mention to keep your eyes on right now.
Yeah. Yeah. They're an outside punt, I think. For me, I've got Kurt Zuma at West Ham, a cheap way into the defence, 4.5 nailed for their fixtures. And then I've got Gay for Palace. He's gone down to 4.3 million over the international
Oh
break.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
nailed Palace centre back, 4.3 million for their fixtures up until the World Cup. I think he's a really good shout. Again, for me on wildcard, it's easy to just pop him in. But him and Zuma are two that I've looked at, particularly for cheap, good fixtures. Patterson was one for Everton, like even semi-bench player playing when you need him, because he's got that injury over the international break. He's probably not an option anymore. So yeah, they were the three probably standouts I wanted to mention in terms of with the fixture swings, I think.
Yeah.
As well
I
as
mean,
James, as we've said,
yeah, it's quite good actually. Quite
and Trippier. Yeah,
different shouts still. Uh,
yeah,
so I've got to be honest with the midfielders and forwards. I just didn't have time to plan any,
that's fair.
which is quite
Yeah,
annoying probably for anyone that has got this far in, because that's probably the positions that you're actually most interested in. I don't know why
yeah.
I get obsessed with defense and goalkeepers, but yeah, what's your thoughts on
Yeah,
attackers and or midfielders first?
yeah. I'm just looking at the ones that were written down. As you said, Maddison, Barnes, I think are good shouts. Wilfred Zaha. I think Zaha and Maddison are the two you really want to get, to be honest. And then like you could have a punt at Bowen, hoping that his form turns. Paqueta for West Ham's a cheap way into that midfield, but I'm personally not looking there until he starts doing something. And then Anthony Gordon for Everton, 5.6 mil. Decent fixtures. He's their main kind of point guy. For that price, I think he's worth consideration. Yeah, they in short, they're the main guys that I'm kind of thinking about, other than the obvious, like De Bruyne's and people like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And Salah's record against Brighton's very good, so worth a
Oh, that was
mention.
the one, I'm really worried about that this weekend. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think you bang on. Like, yeah. Now, after you said about Barnes, I'm like, oh, Barnes is really good replacement for Kulusevski. And
uh,
then you just say
yeah,
Zaha, and I'm like, oh no, Zaha was the plan. Like, I was
yeah. I
planning
think
on rolling the
Zaha and
transfer.
Maddison, and
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
I say rolling the transfer. I've got Maddison in this week. I was just going to get Zaha next week, but then Kulusevski gets injured. And
yeah.
now I'm like, well, I
Only
can use the transfer, but might not be bad just to get in Barnes. Anyway, yeah, like
yeah,
Madison and Zaha probably are the key standouts, but the other ones are
yeah.
a good option. And
Barnes is
yeah,
a luxury because I'm on wildcard, to be honest. He's a luxury, I think, as a second punt.
yeah,
Yeah. If you're not on
um,
wildcard, I wouldn't prioritize Barnes.
yeah, okay. And then what about the attackers that stand out to you?
I mean, Mitrovic, obviously, Fulham's fixtures. Haaland, obviously. Like, I think they're both must-haves, to be perfectly honest, particularly with their ownership and their fixtures. Haaland's going to want to kill United because he basically said, like in his interviews, like, I hate everything to do with United. I can barely even say the word Man United. And they're at home and he's smashing it right now. And I know United are improved, so I'm not expecting Haaland to score 4 or 5. And I'd be surprised if he got a hat trick, but I could see him getting a brace. So yeah, Haaland, Mitrovic, and then you'll see in my wild card, Tony's the third striker I'm looking at, just as a reliable man for Brentford that's been in good form. But if you wanted a cheaper option, there's a lot of people talking about Solanke for Bournemouth because of their fixtures, because he's on penalties.
Much talk on Twitter.
Too much talk for sure. But there's a reason for it. And I'm even considering going there at some point just to help boost the rest of my team in terms of funds and having a guy that can play the odd game when they have a good fixture and probably get me the odd goal. So I don't think he's an awful punt, but I don't love him.
Sorry, who's your three strikers from your wild card right now?
Haaland, Mitrovic, Tony.
Okay.
Like Kane's another one. But yeah, I've suffered too much with Kane. Like Kane's done really well, but Haaland's just always done better. And I know some people have doubled up with Kane and Haaland, but then you can't have it's a lot harder to then have a premium midfielder and having the option to get a Salah or for some of their fixtures coming up and De Bruyne, and if Son came into form, like, or continued his form, his one game form, then I just think it leaves you a bit less flexible.
Yeah. So, it's interesting you saying that because I'm feeling a bit of the pressure that I haven't got them both.
Interesting.
And like every team I see them in, I'm like, it probably is the best way. Like the attackers are definitely the best assets right now, and they look like they're going to continue it. And it doesn't bother me not having a premium midfielder right now. Like I'm not. I'm definitely worried about Salah this week, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I've got what's his name, Diaz.
Yeah, so that's some cover.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Well, we were gonna go through each like Jason, mine, and your team and name a player, but I think let's just cut straight to our golden picks. We'll start this feature next week where we look at each other's team and say who's a player that, or maybe every couple of weeks, just who's a player that we haven't got, just to try and keep on top of. I guess it just helps you see it from someone else's eyes. Like who are you thinking that I should be having that I'm overviewing, and for what reason? Really, just keeps us all on our toes. But your golden picks as well as let's do your golden pick first. So if you had if money wasn't an issue and there's no politics or whatever transfers to think about, who would you have in your team all day this week?
I mean, Maddison, who we've got and we talked about. If someone we like, and Haaland, someone we haven't mentioned, like I'd love to just have a wild punt at like a Jamie Vardy.
Mate, that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. I wrote it as an honourable mention.
Yeah, it's true. Like if Vardy starts that game, he could go mad and no one has him. So I'd love to be able to just have a shot at Vardy, but yeah, I know I'm going to just have to sub him out next week, and he could get benched. So
that is exactly the issue. Yeah,
because Daka's a doubt, so he's not. That gives Vardy maybe more of a chance. But anyway, yeah. Well, so I haven't seen Rodgers' presser, but yeah.
Who is your golden pick? Is it Maddison?
Yeah, I think I'd say Maddison, but like someone we haven't mentioned, like is Vardy. So yeah, okay, I'd say Maddison's the one. I think though. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like in previous weeks I've kind of been struggling for a specific player, but this week I felt like there was lots of honourable mentions. So I've written them down. Like Mitrovic will want to score against Newcastle. I have no doubt in my mind that Mitrovic is going to score against Newcastle.
I am as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of think like if he was at St James's, though, he'd do even better. Actually,
possibly.
But, I'm really worried as a typical emotional Arsenal fan. I'm really worried about Son. Man United got their goals on the break, and I think he could really hurt us.
Yeah,
So I think he deserves an honourable mention. Vardy, it's the attackers that are getting the goals against Forest, and I just think Vardy will go through at least one spell this season where he scores a couple, and this could be the start of it. Um,
yeah, same.
Maddison, obviously, and that's what makes
Hmm.
Barnes really quite nice because he does play more of a striker role. Like he really likes
Yeah,
playing off the last man.
getting in
Um,
behind. Yeah,
but yeah, for me, there's only one man, and that is Haaland. As you said, like there
yeah,
is no,
yeah,
I can't see where Haaland doesn't score at least 2 goals in this game. Like I considered the
yeah,
captaincy for Maddison, and then I was like, no, like I
yeah,
don't know. I
yeah,
think Maddison will play more of an assist role against Forest, and I think
yeah,
it will be Haaland that's going to destroy the the weekend. So I'm so
yeah.
excited to watch it. And then
Same.
regarding transfers and captain, I'll just say quickly. So I've
Yeah,
put I've gone Martinelli out and put Madison in to get
yeah.
ahead of the price jump, and I kind of regret it now. I wish I waited and got the
Okay.
price jump to 8 million and got rid of Kulusevski for him because now Kulusevski is injured. I would have preferred to have Martinelli because I still think Martinelli could score against Tottenham. Um, so I'm a bit gutted I haven't got him now for this and yeah. Anyway, it's happened. So I've Madison in, which I'm really happy I've got. And
Hmm.
then Haaland is my captain all day this week. So
Fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
And then
Regarding your
yeah,
transfer, I appreciate
yeah,
we've run out of time. But what do you
yeah,
want? Tell us what you want. What
yeah.
about your
I
team?
mean, I'll ping it up. I won't talk about it for long, but this is my wildcard team. So Tony, Mitro, Haaland, just really trust them. De Bruyne, Madison, Zaha, trust them. And then I couldn't afford Trippier, so I've gone for Shah as a cheaper option. I'm only going to play him a couple of games. I quite like him as a differential as well. And
Yeah,
then Reece James, like Gay, Zuma nailed. Cancelo's obviously been solid. Andreas, just a great option off the bench. And then Guaita and Ward. I'm tempted to play Ward just this week at home to Forest and then just play Guaita until the rest of the World Cup. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the balance of it. I'd love to hear maybe after the pod what player I don't have you think I should have. In terms of captaincy, I'm going Haaland as well, as discussed. I think Madison's going to do well, but I'm not going to back against Haaland for that fixture against United. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
yeah. I
Um,
definitely think you got a good point about Ward. Like I've been stung by it, but I think like realistic. Well, I don't know. We just don't know what to expect from Chelsea
you haven't, no,
against Palace.
no
And
idea.
seeing De Bruyne in your team and saying like this, I'm not really worried about a premium midfielder. Like
Mm,
I think you've done the right thing there. Like Haaland, De Bruyne double up. Like that is really that's really good, man. Like
yeah.
it's just a lot of money to commit to it, isn't it? But at the same time, it
Mm,
probably over the course of the season, you're probably laughing with that duo, and then on top of that,
yeah.
Cancelo as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah. I
lot
think
of
they're the
money on
three
City,
most. Yeah, they're the
but
three most nailed City guys for the best team in the league at the moment, which is what I like about it. I'm tempted at some point to do Tony to like Solanke, and then I can do De Bruyne up to Salah, for when Liverpool get good fixtures, and I might want to captain Salah. But for now, I'm quite happy with those guys. Like I want De Bruyne for at least the next two. So and then I'll go from there. I think depending on how the games are going and how Salah's form's looking and stuff. So
yeah,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, interesting. No Liverpool players at all, but as you say, just focus on the fixtures.
Yeah, I know. I've got plans to get them in like a few game weeks if they start doing well. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's temporary. But
Okay, cool.
yeah,
All right, mate. Well, yeah, great to speak with you, and yeah,
and you
thanks for everyone who's got this far, and yeah, have a great week. This is FPL FaF. We'll see you next week. See you.
quality. Cheers, guys.